Hello everyone, this is Gringo in the kitchen, and this week for healthy meal prep, we're going to once again use chicken, but this week we're going to throw in some shrimp, and that's for our folks that are vegetarian. So we've got some shrimp that we're going to be using. I've already got my meat taken care of. The meat's got some spices on it. And then I'll be using a sweet potato. Last week we used squash, this week a sweet potato, and I've cut them into sweet potato fries. Going to be putting them into the air fryer along with a little bit of oil and some seasoning. I've got a few of the things that I'm going to use. I've got the coconut oil that I use for my chicken. I've got the avocado oil that I use for the fries, and I got paprika along with some of the spices that got garlic and onion. Little chili powder to give it a little bit of a kick, and then once we get all done, we put some parsley flakes on. All right, add a little color. I've got some green beans. The green beans here we're going to be putting in a steamer. I steam all the green beans so I can keep all the vitamins in there. And then to finalize here, we've got some tomatoes. I'll be dicing up the tomatoes along with the green onions and the cilantro. I do have a little bit of onion in here also. Okay, let's get started. Okay, folks, just a little bit of a demonstration how I do my fries. Unless you actually have a fry cutter, I use my big knife. It's got to be sharp. Just watch your fingers. Keep your fingers out of the way. It's a little bit hard, so you're going to have to. I take it and cut it right in half, and then I'll flip over the half portion, and I start cutting like so. Okay. Once again, watch your fingers. Then you can take these on their side and just start turning them into fries, okay? And you got to get them maybe a 1/4 inch by a 1/4 inch, otherwise they don't cook evenly when you have them in the air fryer. But the air fryer is by far the best way to do the fries because they don't get soggy that way. In the oven, they tend to get quite soggy. And in the air fryer, you might only need to put them for, maybe at 450 degrees in the air fryer at about 15 to 20 minutes. Just keep checking them. All right. Once again, do the other side. It's a little bit tough, but they're very nutritious. A lot of fiber. Got some good vitamins in there. Don't have the starches that you get in any other type of a potato. There we go. That's Zenobia on the other side of the camera. She's doing the same videos that I'm doing. She does them in Portuguese. I do some of the videos in English then. All right. There we go. Just a couple more. Then we're going to start cooking. Get the meat, get the beans. Everything will be going at once. So we'll be back in just a moment. All right, before I put the fries into the air fryer, I'm going to add a little bit of this avocado oil. Just sprinkle it over the top a little bit, okay? Not much, a couple teaspoons. All right. And then I'm just going to take it and mix it up a little bit. Make sure you get the oil spread around because it sort of migrates to the bottom of the pan here, or the bowl. Okay. Then let's go ahead and I'm going to put a little bit of this garlic powder on here. Not much, because you can always add a little bit more later. Okay. And then I've got the chili powder. A little bit of that goes a long ways. Like I said, you can always add more later. This just gets it started. All right. There we go. You see how everything's coated. That's what you want. All right. It's now time to put the sweet potato fries into the air fryer. I use a basket, that way the hot air gets a chance to migrate around and it gets it completely cooked rather than just putting it in a pan, then I've got to turn it over. This way it'll completely cook without me having to open up the air fryer until they're done. Just want to spread them out a little evenly. Don't really want to stack them up too much if you can help it. And with the amount that I want to do today, I'll probably have to do 2 or 3 of these, but it's okay. Okay, this is one of the newer air fryers they've got out there. It's actually an oven, mini oven, and an air fryer. So I go ahead and put them in there. Going to set about 425. Got the air fryer setting right here, and then let's go to right around 18-20 minutes. Now it's time to get the chicken started, and put a little bit of this coconut oil in. Let it melt down a little bit. All right, that gives it a good taste. Spread it out. And once we get this chicken cooked, we're going to shred it. It'll be shredded chicken. I'll show you how to do that. Just use 2 forks very simply and just shred your chicken all the way down to just little strings of chicken. This is sort of a Brazilian dish that we're doing today. And then the shrimp, we'll get that started in just a moment also. All right, for the we're going to saute a few things here with. It's going to go in with the chicken. So right now we got the fries cooking. We got the chicken cooking. I don't want to do the shrimp, which is a fish product. We don't want to do that too early. It only takes about 15 minutes for that. And then the beans, we'll put those in with the same time as we do the shrimp. So for right now, let's take a tomato. We're going to cut it down. They've been washed already. We got to make sure we wash our stuff. And then we're just going to cut them up in different little cubes here. Okay. Just cut them down a little bit because they'll break down as once you put them into the pan before you put your diced or your shredded chicken in. There we go. We got that's 1 whole tomato. That goes inside the bowl. I got my green onions. Actually, don't need that many. I just need a few. I'm going to cut them off right up here. Okay. And then we take off the roots. Don't need that. Okay. And then put them all together in a little tiny group here. Start dicing them up. Adds to the flavor. Just all of this stuff adds to the flavor of that meat. And a new word for today with the Gringo in the kitchen is flavor. Flavor, you translate it into Portuguese, is sabor. And that's S-A-B-O-R. Now I'll have another word here in just a minute if I can think of one. But sabor is your new word for the day. All right. We've got some cilantro. Just going to break it down here a little bit. Cilantro really gives a good smell. It gives a good flavor to your meats. I just like to get a little bit smaller. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit bigger knife so I can break this down a little bit. I just take the knife over the top, like so. There we go. Watch your fingers. Don't want to add anything else to this. And I like to break it down just so it's not so thick. Okay. All right. We'll add this. All right, there we go. And then the final thing, I've already got some onions. I minced them up a little bit. So that's probably about a half an onion right there. So you put that in there. This is the purple onion, good strong onion. And then we're going to just mix it up. And that goes into your pan after the meat is cooked. And I'll show you how to do that, but it really, really adds to the flavor. All right. Okay, I'm checking on the chicken here. You can see how much moisture it's already got in there, and I only add a little bit of oil, of coconut oil. but we just want to make sure it's evenly cooked. And it's starting to shrink down a little bit. I did put quite a bit of chicken in here, but it shrinks down as you go. So, all right. Now it's time to prepare the shrimp. This is pre-cooked shrimp. It's been cooked but not completely cooked. One thing you want to be careful with when you do buy shrimp is to make sure it's deveined. If you don't have deveined shrimp, you're going to have to do it all by yourself. You can see right here where it's been cut open. And what I like to do is, I'll have to thaw this out. It wouldn't take long because fish doesn't take that long to thaw out. But I'm going to go ahead and throw some water in here, and we're going to thaw it out, and I'm going to go through. I'll have to snip the tails off also. Okay, I'm almost thawed out here. Just looking through my shrimp. Just going to trim off those tails. Put them in another pot here. And at the same time, take a good look at the veining. Even though they're deveined, I believe it's done by a machine, and sometimes they miss. And the reason you don't want the vein in there, because the vein is actually, they call it a vein, but it's actually the intestines of the shrimp. And that's one thing you don't want to eat. All right, so I haven't found any yet, but I'm sure I will in the process here. You'll see just a little bit of a dark spot down in there, and that's what you want to take your knife and get out. I found one here that has a little bit of a vein left in it. So, you know, although they did pretty good on this batch, I still find it a little bit. You see that? That's one thing makes you sick. You do not want that type of stuff in your food. All right, you just trim it out. Okay, we've got the beans in the steamer here, setting it to about 35 minutes. What's going to happen is the steam's going to float right up through it. It'll cook that and leave all those vitamins and good nutrients in. Now it's time to get the shrimp ready to go. I went and deveined it, whatever was left to devein, washed it, it's thawed out, ready to go. Going to add, again, a little bit of avocado oil to it. Then after the avocado, a little bit of a spice. Maybe a little bit more. Let's put in a little bit of chili. Just a bit. I'm going to put it in the frying pan, and we're going to just warm it up. It doesn't need to be cooked that much because if you remember, it is pre-cooked. Make sure some of this comes out. There we go. Okay, just mix it well, and then you can always add a little more spice to it later. Let's add the shrimp to it. There's a little bit of water in there. I don't want to put the water in here if I can help it. It's going to shrink a little bit, but you know, that's what happens when you cook this stuff down a little bit. I just don't want to eat it raw. I don't want to eat any type of seafood raw, even though they say it's pre-cooked. All right, and then another word for the day is, for shrimp, is camarão. Camarão is a Portuguese word, and you spell it C-A-M-A-R-A-O. Camarão. That's your second word for the day. Okay, the process we're going to have going on right now is the shredding of the chicken. And I just use 2 forks for that. I don't know any other way to do it to really get it to where you want to. So you just sort of pull the chicken and then break it down. You do this for all the chicken. Then there's a secret ingredient that I put in here a little bit later. Once I put it on the stove, add it to my the little veggies that I'm going to be putting with the tomatoes and cilantro, onions, green onions. All right, you see how we're just shredding it up. And you see how it comes apart there? You just do it with a grain of the meat, and it comes right out. Okay, we did finish the chicken here. You can see where it's shredded up. Got a good bunch of chicken there. But before we put the chicken in, I'm going to put it in this pan. And looking at this pan, I bet you're saying, Gringo, you forgot to wash your pan. Well, I left it that way on purpose. And what you see here is what's left over from the meat. There's no problem, because a lot of this is the oil from the, that would be the coconut oil. And what we made before with the vegetables, this goes right in here. All right. I'm going to break it down a little bit with the heat. Just a little sauteing going on here. Might have it a little bit too hot. Turn it down just a bit. You just mix it. You see what's happening to the pan? It's cleaning up the pan for me. And it mixes it in. You get that, the sabor, or the flavor, goes into the, of that meat, goes into all the vegetables here. And then carries over to the back to the chicken when we put that in here. But we're going to let this cook just a little bit, just till it cleans up the pan. Now you can see it's almost ready to go. I'm going to put my chicken here in just a second, but all of the spices and anything that might have washed off the meat into the pan are all back within my vegetables here. And now I'm going to go ahead and take the meat, put some in there. I'm going to mix it up before I put it all. Get it mixed. Okay. Just keep on mixing it till it's... Now it's time to put the last of the chicken in. Then there's one more ingredient I'm going to add here in just a minute. It's my secret ingredient. Okay. This gives a whole new life to this chicken once you add all this stuff to it. And we learned this from a friend in Brazil, Almeida, showed us how to do this, and we've been making this for years. And so for right now, I'm going to take what we call crema de leche, and you can get this at any store. Just put it in here. It's actually more like a thick table cream when you look at the consistency of it. Not a lot of sugar in it or anything, so it's pretty good for you. And you mix this in. And basically at this point you're just keeping it warm. You're warming it up, getting it so it boils down a little bit of this milk. We'll be back in just a minute. Okay, on the shrimp, we're finalizing that also. But we drained the water off. There was quite a bit of water on there. We drained the water off. You can see how much they're shrinking already. Also taken some, this is frozen garlic. It'll break down here in just a minute. I'm going to stir that in also. Just getting a little bit of the frozen garlic mixed in. And I added just a little bit more of the coconut oil. And we're going to let it cook. And we're going to throw a few more spices on it. Okay, our healthy meal for the week has been prepared. Now it's just a matter of filling the lunch boxes. And so the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to put some of our chicken. You can see how that ended up here. Very, very good. All right, we'll put that in one end over here. Okay, and then in the center, I'm going to put my green beans. All right, got green beans, and then we will get our healthy fries, sweet potato on the other side. Okay, these are very nutritious. And then we also put together something for our vegetarian family members. So we've got the shrimp. We'll put that on one end here. And the shrimp, I did add a little bit more pepper to it, and maybe a little more salt. So then we're going to still use the beans. We'll put the beans in the center. Green beans are good for you. Along with the green beans, we finish up with our sweet potato. All right, see that? Very good. Okay, our healthy meals for the week are completed, and we've got some here for our vegetarian family members also. You will find that there is a substantial savings when you do these meals. When you come home from work, you just put this in the microwave, but you'll try to pull them out of the freezer at least the night before so they're thawed out. But you will put them in the microwave for maybe for 2 or 3 minutes, and you got a meal right in front of you. A lot of good vitamins in here. So we do this every week, and we prepare enough meals for us. And it's good, healthy stuff for the family. So on behalf of Gringo in the Kitchen with Zenobia Beckley, please subscribe, share, and like on the channel. And on the left-hand side of your screen, you're going to see her picture. That's where you can subscribe. So just click on the picture there and subscribe to the channel. And there's also bells. If you click on the bell twice, it'll let you know when we have new videos coming out. So thank you so much for watching me today. Next week, I will be doing some sweet bread. I look forward to seeing you then.